Welcome to All Honor. I am Kaden Lee. Today I am joined by Kimmy Sokol as we talk Ring of Honor Death Before Dishonor 2024. I also call it AEW Dark Elevation Death Before Dishonor 2024. Kimmy, how are you?
No, that is not the name of this programming. Okay, Death Before Dishonor has been a stable pay-per-view for the company, but I've been good. This show's gonna make me jump out a window, but here we are previewing it an hour before it starts.
Yeah, I texted Kimmy this morning and I said, hey, you want to talk about this show an hour before it goes on the air? And I was even fine doing it during 0 hour too, just because I thought it'd be funny. But we're here an hour before 0 hour. We got two matches announced for that part of the program. So let's go ahead and start with what Tony Khan just announced on his Twitter. It's not even on the Wikipedia yet, so I need to double check to make sure I have everything right for that. I know the match. I just want to make sure that I don't do something wrong. Uh, it's not even on his Twitter. It's on the Ring of Honor Twitter. Tony
Yes, it
Khan did
is.
not announce this match. The Outrunners will take on the team of Top Flight, Dante Martin and Darius Martin, and then Truth Magnum and Turbo Floyd. This is, if I'm not mistaken, did Dante wrestle at Supercard? He didn't, right?
I don't think so. Why do I have a feeling I should pull up the Super? I was at Supercard, guys. I was media, and I don't
Yeah, you
remember.
were.
Listen, I walked into that show slightly intoxicated. I was
Why are
celebrating a
you
six because
why
we
are
were
you admitting
celebrating
this?
a successful day one at WrestleCon. Because this is going to lead into, if you have nothing to do in Cleveland, go to WrestleCon Cleveland. Go to WrestleCon.com to get your tickets. As I'm looking at the card, no,
I
they were not
don't
on the
see it.
card.
So this is Dante Martin's first Ring of Honor match since he broke his ankle right in front of my eyes at Supercard of Honor 2023 in Los Angeles at the University of Southern California, USC Trojans. Um, yeah, it's a redemption match for Dante Martin in a way. Uh, on 0 hour, I can't look. I know a lot of people really like the Outrunners because of the gimmick. They're very good enhancement talent, just not look like I'm not. We're not watching them to get like a 4-star match. This will probably be perfectly fine and get Top Flight a Ring of Honor win. So I got Top Flight. Kimmy, how are you feeling about this newest addition to the Death Before Dishonor card?
I really wish he would have announced this yesterday, just because, like, going into today, because he announced this match like 30 minutes ago, right? We only have one match on 0 hour, which is MxM Collection's debut. So I would have liked a little beforehand before I published my predictions this morning. But yeah, I don't really know what we're doing with Top Flight, because it's like 1 week they're with Action Andretti, the next week they're a tag team, the next week they're competing in a singles match, and I'm like, what? Why? How? But yeah, Top Flight's gonna win. This is just to pop the crowd.
Yeah, it's definitely a pop the crowd match here. And like I'm sure it'll be good. Like I said, it's not like anything I'm like super interested to watch. Like I could miss this and be okay. I am very curious about what they're doing with Top Flight. Um I was looking, someone tweeted a few days ago and said it was about it was about one of the younger, it was about Takashita, and said, like, if anything the G once taught us is that Konosuke Takashita should be built up immediately and should have been belted up in the last 2 years. And I said, there's a lot of young talent you can say that about. Daniel Garcia, and then the other two that came to my head were Top Flight. These guys have been in the company since 2021. If you remember, they started coming into the company right after the Bucks won the tag titles at Full Gear November 2020. They had that match on Dynamite for I don't remember if it was a title match or if it was
I,
the
wasn't it an
championship eliminator.
eliminator?
I think it was an
Because
eliminator.
didn't they show this whole video package, if I remember correctly? Like, they DM'd the Bucks on Twitter,
Yeah,
like
yeah, yeah. That's what
asking
it
for a
was.
match, and then like they got their
Yeah,
contract.
yeah. They had the eliminator match, and this is a really talented team that's gone through injury struggles. Unfortunately, Darius had his 2 issues, and then Dante had his last year, but they've been fully healthy since the fall. And they should have gotten those trios titles on the December 23rd Collision episode when they took on the Acclaimed. Like, that was when everybody wanted them in action to win. And they could also have won the tournament a few months ago when the Bucks won, and still they won the titles on April 21st. The Bucks have still not defended those tag team championships. So I hope that Top Flight doesn't just get relegated to Ring of Honor. I hope that they are brought and get to do something in AEW. If you're going to keep them in Ring of Honor, I hope that you're actually making them Ring of Honor. Like,
I
you got
mean,
to like actually do something with with Ring of Honor if you're going to keep them there.
I mean, I agree, but like, is anyone really Ring of Honor? I mean, JJ's clapping in the chat, but like, still, who's Ring of Honor? I am Ring of Honor.
Look, you weren't there. Me and JJ, we went through it. We went through those tapings in Orlando. We sat through a lot of wrestling,
And
and a
we
lot of it
thank
was not
you.
good.
That's true.
Those first few weeks with Zack Sabre Jr. were fantastic, but then
Yes.
they gave a. But then it was like, it was dark. It literally became dark.
I mean, you still think it's dark.
I mean, it still is dark.
Every Thursday, Kaden will text me. Kaden will be like, "So how's Dark Elevation? How's it going? How's the episode?"
Yeah. I don't call it Ring of Honor. I call it Dark Elevation. Let's move on to the part of the 0 hour that I'm actually really intrigued by. Kind of shocked this wasn't put on the main card, considering how heavily they're being featured right now. We have the debut of the MxM Collection. Mansoor and Massey, now known as Mason Madden, and still Mansoor because that's his real name. They will be having their debut match in Ring of Honor. They are 2 new signees to Ring of Honor. Supposedly, it's like specifically Ring of Honor, not an AEW Ring of Honor dual contract like Blake Christian is under. And I'm really, really excited for this. Both of those guys did everything they could with their slot on WWE television in the last year or so of them being there. And since going on the independent scene, I think they've done some of the better, probably the better work out of a lot of the releases we've seen recently. I put their work above what Mustafa Ali has been doing, and like a Shelton Benjamin, and I'd even put it above what Nick Nemeth has been doing. I prefer their work, even though Nemeth is TNA champion. I still prefer what Mason and Mansoor have been doing. So I'm really interested in what they're going to do in this match. Obviously, they're going to win. So Kimmy, as someone who watches Ring of Honor weekly, and you've been watching the vignettes build, where do you see these 2 fitting in on Ring of Honor TV? And do you think that them signing that exclusive ROH contract is a good sign for the direction of Ring of Honor as they enter these Arlington tapings?
100%. I think that if they are serious about the reboot, I think we all saw Sean's report that they're going to take Ring of Honor seriously. He jokingly told me it was because I kept complaining. So before someone corrects me, I'm going to keep going with that joke. But yeah, I think it's important because, they could have easily jumped to AEW right away when their 90 days went up, but they didn't do that. They went everywhere in the indies to kind of like build up their platform for people to get excited. I know Kate had tweeted that like people were subscribing to Ring of Honor just to see them like in Ring of Honor. So when the subscription numbers go up, that means we care about Ring of Honor. I think they're going to wrestle Boulder and Bronson of the Iron Savages. It's the thing that makes the most sense. I don't think it's going to be like because it's a TBA. I don't think it's going to be like a huge thing that they're going to like wrestle like, oh my God, it's like 2 people from AEW. No, it's going to be Bronson Boulder. They're going to win. They're going to look good. And they will be the ones to defeat the Kingdom at Final Battle.
Yeah, I do see them beating the Kingdom for sure. And we'll talk about that a little bit more when we get to. I have some thoughts about that when we get to the Kingdoms match on this show, as well as Roderick Strong and Mark Briscoe, another member of the Undisputed Kingdom. Yeah, I look, they're in Texas. There are a lot of really good independent wrestlers in Texas that I could see being put in this role. There's some good tag teams out there. There's one team. No, that's a team that's in Florida. I was gonna say there's a team that they usually book with their Florida team because I mix up my territories. But yeah, I am interested to see who they put in there at least. Boulder, or Bear Country, whatever. What are they called?
The Iron Savages.
The Iron Savages. I almost called them Bear Country. The
I
Iron
mean, you're
Savages.
technically not wrong.
Technically correct. I saw a lot of Bear Country entrances. Maybe this is the return of everyone's favorite faction. The other ones that we saw a million times at those damn tapings.
Who?
With Davari.
Oh, the Varsity Athletes?
No, the other one.
What
The
other?
Trustbusters.
Oh, the Trustbusters. No, that
This
was
should be the
trash.
return of the Trustbusters.
That was trash. Listen.
Oh, it was really bad. I'm really interested to see what they do with these two, and hopefully that they can get on TV because they are so good. And AEW's tag team division is a fucking train wreck right now. Please, you didn't get Motor City Machine Guns. Let's start building this shit up. But make the Bucks defend the belts. It's been 3 months. It's July 26th. It's been 90 days.
This is true. I agree. But I mean, hey, we're going to get the Young Bucks versus the Acclaimed at All In. I mean, that should just sum up what the tag team division in AEW is.
You know it's bad when we get that, but then we're probably also getting a triple threat with FTR. So when they have to run back the Bucks and FTR again when nobody wants it, that's how you know we're in pretty dire situations, unfortunately.
Hey, the only thing that matters at All In is that Britt's getting her match against Mercedes. The only thing that matters.
And she's losing, but Jamie's returning, so we'll take that. Let's go to the main card, Kimmy, and another match that was announced yesterday, a lucha match. Commander takes on the Beast Mortos, formerly known as Black Taurus. This is going to rule. I think the Beast Mortos is like one of the most exciting wrestlers. Anytime he has a match, I'm locked the fuck in. I was ringside for his match at Final Battle. The Vikingo match at Final Battle, right? That's what it was. Okay. Yeah, I was ringside for that. Fantastic. I assume this opens the show because whenever Tony books Lucha on his Ring of Honor pay-per-views, he likes to open the show with it. So I think this opens here as well. This will be really exciting. I have the Beast Mortos finally getting a win. Who do you have?
I have Commander just because he's another one that I'm really confused because when they were consistently doing survival of the fittest, okay, JJ, I am not a Lucha Libre expert. We don't need to get Rob Viper in on this. We're going to talk, don't worry, we'll talk all about Rob Viper when we get to Atlantis Jr. because I can't. But anyway, so Commander is very confusing because when they were doing the survival of the fittest matches every week, Commander was winning, and like the 4-corner survival, Commander was winning, and he's like, where has he been? What is this building to? He should be in the survival of the fittest match for like God's sake. So I'm gonna pick Commander because why not?
I'm honestly really 50-50 about this just because I don't watch the weekly, and so I don't know if they are building something with Commander, but like they haven't given the Beast Mortos any wins, and I really think that he's someone that they should build for that TV title slot. That's what I would like to see.
Why do I have a feeling did he wrestle at Supercard of Honor, or am I just like tripping?
No, yeah, he was on the 0 hour last minute.
Yes, he won. He beat Blake Christian. So he won.
Oh, he did get a win. I forgot he beat Blake Christian. So that's why I don't remember that match. That makes sense.
I was like, wait, I know he won because I was like, why is he winning?
Look, Blake Christian is a solid wrestler. He has one match.
Yes.
They're all one. All 300 matches. They're all the same thing.
Yes. 100%.
Let's move on. I'm gonna save some Texas stuff for a little later and shout out the Von Erichs in a little bit. Well, let's go to the Pure Wrestling Championship. Finally, Wheeler Yuta is healthy. He is not concussed. He can defend his championship as he takes on another young man in Ring of Honor, Lee Moriarty, in a match for that Ring of Honor Pure Championship. Obviously, it'll be Pure Wrestling rules. Kimmy, I know that y'all have been begging for Wheeler Yuta to defend this belt or for someone to defend this belt. Are y'all celebrating? Are the 5 Ring of Honor fans still in the world celebrating this one?
Listen, when he first came back, I was like, guys, he's only coming back because he's in his hometown of Pennsylvania. Like, Tony Khan had a light bulb in his head. He's like, wait, I could have Wheeler wrestle now because he's from Pennsylvania. So I actually think Moriarty's going to win. I think Moriarty has tweeted a
Wait,
bunch.
this isn't Kimmy. Tonight's not in Pennsylvania.
No, I know, but I'm saying like his return to Ring of Honor was in
Oh,
Pennsylvania.
okay, yeah.
Like his first match back
Yeah,
on
okay.
Ring of Honor was in PA, and Kate was there.
Okay.
That's
Now
what
I
I meant.
understand.
But yeah, I think Lee Moriarty's gonna win. He has tweeted so much about like winning the Pure title. He tweeted about AJ winning the first. He tweeted about previous Pure champions. He tweeted a whole video package. And if they're very serious about this reboot, we need a Pure division. And Lee Moriarty is someone that can lead it. He looked really dominant in the tag match yesterday. They're playing into the fact that Shane Taylor actually headbutted Wheeler yesterday in the tag match of like, oh my god, is Wheeler's head going to be okay? And I think that Wheeler's going to be more dominant on AEW. I know Claudio's leaving, but I feel like Wheeler's going to be more on like the Collision stuff. So I think Lee's going to win.
Okay. Interesting. I also think Lee is winning. I don't know what the plans were for Wheeler. I still suspect the rumor for a while that I don't think anyone confirmed it, but the rumor was that it would have been Shelton taking him on at Supercard. And I think Shelton would have won. So I think they were just killing time to get the belt on someone else. Lee is in STP.
Yes. With
Yeah.
Anthony Ogogo.
Yeah, and with Shane Taylor. So I could see tonight being a big night for the Shane Taylor promotions.
Does that mean you have Shane Taylor winning the TV title later on?
Possibly. We'll go into that in a little bit. But I do have Lee Moriarty winning the Pure Rules Championship tonight from Wheeler Yuta. A disappointing reign, but I don't even think I can call it like disappointing because he was injured. They just should have taken the belt off of him when they took the belt off of the Guns and Jay White for no reason when Juice was right there. Like there's no consistency there.
Then are you new to Ring of Honor? There's never any consistency here.
No, I know Big Dog's looking. Unfortunate. We have. I don't know why this is on the show. You can tell me if this is a stipulation that makes sense because again, I don't watch Ring of Honor. So when I saw this graphic 2 weeks ago, I said, why is the first women's Texas death match Diamante versus Layla Hirsch?
Okay, so essentially this whole feud, right? So Diamante and Layla have apparently wrestled like 5 times. Layla has beaten Diamante every time. Then like 2 weeks or 3 weeks ago, Diamante challenged her again. They had a lights out match which had like no build whatsoever. Diamante won, and now to even the odds, we have this Texas death match.
This is fucking stupid.
I agree with you. I don't think this should be on the card. I would rather have Nyla Rose here, Rachel Ellering, Abaddon, someone else in this position rather than this match happening. Like I said, like Layla has beaten Diamante so many times. This is just a filler. I do think Layla gets the win here since Diamante won the lights out match. But to be honest, the lights out match wasn't that good. So I really don't know what to expect for a Texas death match. And I'm a little scared.
I'm more upset that AEW has never done AEW Ring of Honor has never done a women's Texas death match. And that the first one being done is this, when it should have been saved for Toni Storm and Mariah May.
Correct. I agree.
Because the first women's lights out match was Britt and Thunder Rosa, which was perfect. The first women's steel cage match, Britt and Thunder Rosa. And I thought that Mariah and Toni deserved that. Maybe they can still get an exploding barbed wire death match. Like, that would also be really fucking awesome. But, like, they shouldn't have wasted this stip that is such a protected stipulation in AEW. You look at the history of them and the ones that they have had, a lot of them Moxley. and then Swerve and Hangman, and Archer and Hangman. It's been a pretty protected stipulation. So for them to do it, it just shocks me. I don't understand the decision. Yeah, what you said makes sense. Layla Hirsch winning, letting the baby face win here too. I assume she's the baby face over Diamante. Yeah.
Correct.
So yeah, getting the baby face the win, that makes sense to me. I'm just confused. It doesn't. The match itself doesn't make sense to me, but I'm sure it'll be like it should be good. Although you said that the lights out match wasn't, so maybe it won't.
It
Oh well.
I think these two aren't good. Like I've never been a fan of they're not. Like I'm being honest, like I've never been a fan of either one of them, which is why I'm like why? You could like to be honest, I think Athena and Queen Aminata should have had the Texas Death Match in their title match tonight.
Yeah, yeah, I can see that. I can see that because I at least know the history of that because it's Athena, the only part of Ring of Honor I pay attention to.
So good.
So I actually like somewhat know what's going on there. But yeah, I can't fully disagree with that. I like Layla Hirsch. I haven't seen a lot of what she's done since she came back because she's been on Ring of Honor, but I really liked what she was doing before her injury in 2022. Diamante, I think, is a solid worker, like what you need in your company, but she's not the greatest. Like she's like fine.
She's just
Very
there.
Yeah, it's a very similar role to like what LA Knight would be if he didn't have charisma.
Yeah. Because I think the other thing too is like Diamante and Mercedes Mercedes Martinez and Diamante are like a team, and like we haven't seen Mercedes Martinez, so maybe she gets involved, which is why they added a stipulation because it's like no DQ, anything could go, and Layla doesn't have a friend. That's how Rachel Ellering comes. Like that could happen, but they could have just done like a no DQ.
Could just not have the match.
I mean that too. That also
there's 9 matches on the main card, and is this a wait? Okay, so I gotta ask: is this a pay per view or is it Honor Club?
It's on Honor Club, but I call it a pay per view because technically I'm paying $9.99 a month.
Okay, so yeah, like then there's no excuse for doing the 9 matches.
Correct. I mean, as long as every title's defended, I
don't even think you need every title. If there's no title match, don't defend the title. But yeah, like I would have just done like 7 matches here and cut this one. Like this is an easy one to cut.
They could
like
have
just looking at what there is on the show. Like if this was the only thing not on the show, and you moved like the next one we're going to talk about, if that was on the 0 hour, that'd be a really good 7-match card.
It might be the Ring of Honor show of the year. I mean, we only have 3 of them, but
who knows? Let's move on to another match that I thought was going to be on the 0 hour. I'm very shocked it is not. It is a Ring of Honor World 6-Man Tag Team Championship Eliminator match with the winners facing the Undisputed Kingdom team of Roderick Strong, Matt Taven, and Mike Bennett. Wikipedia thinks Wardlow could be in there, but Wardlow ain't on TV. For the vacant titles, a battle of the belts tomorrow night after Collision. I don't know why that's still a thing. It's the team of the Texas Legacy Boys, Dustin Rhodes and Marshall and Ross Von Erich, taking on the Dark Order, Evil Uno, John Silver, and Alex Reynolds as a native Texan, born and raised. I don't live there anymore, but like I still own a native Texan. This makes my heart very happy. Dustin Rhodes is from like specifically from like my little part. He's from my county. Dusty also like from Austin, like same region. The Von Erichs, obviously Dallas boys. They ran the Dallas territory. I mean, they ran Texas in general, but like their territory is Dallas, Arlington area where they are doing Ring of Honor tonight. Yeah, I'm excited mainly just to see the Rhodes and Von Erichs teaming up for the first time since the 90s. That's what I care about. 80s or 90s. I forgot how long ago it's been. It's been a while.
Been forever ago. I think the Von Erichs and Dustin get this one. I actually think that they're going to hold the 6-man titles. I think the Von Erichs are going to have a very good run in this Arlington residency, and they need a reason for people to come to those Ring of Honor only tapings. And the way you do that is putting the titles on people from Texas, and that I think the Von Erichs are perfect in that. They don't have to hold the titles for long. I think Dustin mentoring them could be really cool. I think that they are going to eventually sign with AEW Ring of Honor. I know that it was reported earlier this week that having Kevin Von Erich around, like Tony loves having him. He's a great mentor and he's a great tool to have. So I think that they are going to win tonight and win tomorrow.
I concur. I also think that they're winning those titles because of what you said. This is very much territory booking. You are running one place, and it's honestly not for that much longer because they're already a week into the residency. But you do have at least I don't remember if it's 2 or 3 different weeks that they're taping. I know they're taping tomorrow. No, so like taping Sunday. Is tomorrow or Sunday? I don't know. The taping's weird.
I know the Ring of Honor tapings there's one in July and one in August.
Okay, so there's 2. Yeah, the second set is August 11th, which is the
Yes.
ones if I don't go to Collision, I'll go to those. I'm
I have
going.
someone to
It
tell me
depends
the
on it when I can get a
results.
car. I don't want to go. I'd rather go to Collision.
Oh.
But they are doing those tapings, so you do have to kind of book like the territory days for it. So you put the belt on people who are from Texas because this is not. Well, I guess like the Universal tapings were free, but like Universal tapings were cheap, and you had the fan base like there who were going to show up no matter what. And even then, they stopped showing up after a certain point because they were like, "This fucking sucks." So you have to give them a reason because you're not going to advertise matches beforehand. You're probably not going to advertise talent either. So if you say you're going to come see the Von Erichs and Dustin Rhodes, that might not seem like a big deal to a fan from like Philadelphia, but to a fan from Texas, especially Dallas, like that could be something that could get you to go. So it's a really good little thing that they can do. I 100% agree. I think they're winning those titles, and I think they're winning tonight. Let's go now to we only got title matches left. So let's go to the people who might be facing the Von or who will be likely facing the Von Erichs and Dustin tomorrow night. The Undisputed Kingdom, Matt Taven and Mike Bennett, the current Ring of Honor World Tag Team Champions, will be defending them against the conglomeration of Kyle O'Reilly and Tomohiro Ishii. But I called him Ishii again. It's Ishii. I keep saying, like, whenever I read the name, I call him Ishii. And whenever I don't, I say Ishii. It's Ishii. Tomohiro Ishii. I fucking love Ishii and Kyle O'Reilly. There are a list of like 10 wrestlers who I'll very likely watch almost anything they do in like singles wise or like a big tag match or whatever. Like I will just immediately watch them. And 3 of those guys are on the show tonight. And 2 of them are Kyle O'Reilly and Tomohiro Ishii. I think that both of them absolutely rule. A little good trade-off to get Ishii for Konosuke Takeshita going to work the G1 Climax this summer. And I think this match will be very fun. Kyle O'Reilly and Ishii will very likely be carrying Taven and Bennett to a 4 1/4. But I mean, yeah, I'm sorry, it's gonna be a heavy carry job here. But yeah, the Undisputed Kingdom are retaining.
So Kaden texted me earlier today. He did not know this match was announced last night, and he was like, "Oh my god, this is my match! I am so excited for this. This is my match of the night. I could cry. Oh my god!" And I was
It's my
like,
second match of the night. There's one more that like I legitimately fell to my knees when they announced it.
"Oh, I thought this was the one you fell to your knees." I was like,
I fell to my knees, but I didn't fall to my knees as hard as the other one, but I fell to my knees.
So I originally thought that they were gonna have MxM face the Kingdom on this pay-per-view just because a couple weeks ago the Kingdom cut a promo and they were like, no one's been more out fashioned than us. Like we need new challengers, and I'm like, MxM, that's who it is. And they're like, nope, we're gonna put Kyle and Ishii in here. I think having Ishii in the match, it protects Kyle a little bit so he could take the pin since he's not signed to AEW, not attached to Ring of Honor. He's just here for the summer. So they're gonna pin Ishii. I'm sorry, Kaden. But yeah, this could be a good match.
I watch enough New Japan and AEW to know that Ishii's taking the pin. I watch enough content. I would have like the only thing I would have preferred over this is if they just didn't have the Kingdom defend their titles and they put Katsuyori Shibata versus Ishii on this show. That's what I was wanting, actually.
Oh yeah, you tweeted that.
Yeah,
And I was like, I don't know how we get there, but
I would
okay.
have loved it. They have a really good, like, 8-minute G1 match from, it was 2016. Maybe it was the year. It's fantastic. Also wrestled on that show was Carl Anderson and Shelton Benjamin. Both were in the G1 that year.
Oh my
That
god.
show, that one G1 show, I did a review, plug here. 2 years ago, I think now, me and Rob Wilkins did a retro review on Fightful Select on that G1 show. So go check that out. Fightful Select, $5 a month. Let's go now to another championship as Billie Starkz defends her Ring of Honor Women's World Television Championship against Red Velvet. Billie won this title at the last Ring of Honor pay-per-view against Queen Aminata by doing the fake neck injury. A very controversial thing. I honestly, perfectly honest, I thought that absolutely ruled. I've been wanting Billie to do that for like 2 years now, like something like that on like a big stage, and she did it. She cheated. Finally, we've been begging for it. Mouse has been begging for it. The Billie Starkz fans were rejoicing that night. I thought it absolutely ruled. And yeah, Billie's gonna have a really big defense here against Velvet. I have Billie retaining, but Kimmy, how are you feeling about this one?
I am so excited for Red. This is her first pay-per-view. Like this is
Mm-hmm.
such a big deal for Red. I met Red I think right after the Shaq match was the first time I worked with her. So just like
Mm-hmm.
seeing like what she's been through, I am so I love when my friends succeed. I am so freaking hyped. I think Red has drastically improved since her injury. I think she's doing some of the best work of her career. The dynamic with her and Aminata has been absolutely amazing. Her going to Ring of Honor has like really saved her career, honestly. I don't know what she'd be doing if she was stuck in AEW world.
Mm-hmm.
Um I don't like Billie's I don't know if you saw, I don't like Billie's new hair. I don't think it doesn't vibe well. It's too dark. I said this yesterday on Honor Ramble that I was like, Billie's a paler individual and her hair is like dark, 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 dark blue.
I'm I'm looking for it.
It's supposed to match Athena's purple, but it doesn't work. And I'm like, "Oy, girl, really?" But this match,
Ooh, oh, yeah,
yeah,
it's a little dark.
yeah. That's what I'm saying. This match should be good. I think that Red's really going to show out, but Billie's going to win. But I do think that not by the end of this year, but maybe early next year, Red will hold that title.
Yeah, it's a good prediction, honestly. The only thing that could lean me towards Billie losing is I feel like Billie is winning the world title off of Athena at Final Battle.
I think so too. I forgot. I predicted this yesterday. I said like if Billie were to do like an option C thing like they do in TNA, that's how we get that match again.
Mm-hmm.
Because they can't have Billie turn on Athena again. They did that already. But I don't see Athena turning on Billie. So I don't know how we get there, but I think that
I
is the
do.
vision.
I think that's what has to happen because they have to turn Billie back face.
Oh, we did that
You'd
already.
have to turn Billie face again. Yeah.
So no.
I do think that's what happens, but I think if you're gonna get there, you have to have Billie drop the title. So part of me thinks they could have her drop it here. I think it's more likely that they like just do it sometime in the fall on TV to like or on Honor Club because we also don't know what Honor Club's gonna look like come September or October. So I don't know like what their plans are. They could do it on Battle of the Belts to like actually make Battle of the Belts mean something. So we're gonna have another in October. We should have another one. So they could do it there. Yeah, we should have. Yeah, we have one more this year, so they could do it on the other Battle of the Belts. Like, there's also pay-per-views. They're gonna have to fill some slots on. They could do it like Chicago. I don't know. You could get there a little bit, but I do think it's like a little too early to take that belt off of Billie.
And plus two, like like the only matches Billie's had with that title is like proving grounds matches. She hasn't had a
Mhm.
real match yet, which like
Yeah.
defeats the whole purpose of like creating prestige for this new championship we introduced. And I made such a big deal about it on Twitter that I literally at the World's End media scrum, I was like, Tony Khan, scrap everything AEW they're gonna ask you about. I'm gonna ask you about this new title and why we're doing this and what your vision is for it. And he was like, well, Kimmy, I'm gonna tell you this is what we're doing, and I'm so excited. I was like, me too, Tony.
Yeah, none of it happened.
I know.
Yeah, it's not been the best book title, unfortunately.
None of the
Moving
titles
on.
have been the best book title. Doesn't matter what title you're talking about here.
Let's move in to our other television championship match, as we will have a survival of the fittest for the Ring of Honor World Television Championship. Atlantis Jr., who beat Kyle Fletcher a few weeks ago in Arena, Mexico for the championship, will take on Lio Rush, Shane Taylor, Brian Cage, Lee Johnson, and Johnny TV. Interestingly, Fletcher is not in this match. We'll talk about that after we do our predictions. I think that's also an interesting part about this, that Kyle
He,
did drop that title like pretty quick going into the pay-per-view cycle. But out of all these people, Kimmy, who do you see going far, and then also who do you see winning? Think because of the way this match works, where it is single, it's an elimination match basically. So as you go through the eliminations, like who are you kind of thinking? It's just an elimination match, right?
yeah,
Another step. Okay, I'll make sure there was another step on top of it. Yeah. So like,
the,
who are you thinking is like going like pretty far, and then who do you think's winning?
the one thing I will say is Kyle is very busy being Dr. Kyle to Sky Blue. Obviously, we have to send our well wishes.
Uh-huh.
Actually, Tony Khan said on the media call that Sky was actually supposed to be on this card, and her injury like affected that. So I don't know what they had planned, but he had said that he had planned Sky to be involved in the show. So I wonder
I think she
what.
would have worked like a 0 hour.
Yeah, so I'm curious of what that match was supposed to be. Imagine it was Sky versus Nyla. Oh my god, I don't know what I would have done with myself. I think Lee Johnson's gonna go far. Obviously, he's been in the TV title scene the entire year. Shane Taylor's another one. He called out Mark Briscoe a couple weeks ago. I think he also called out Atlantis Jr. last night. He's another one. Johnny TV, just because like Shane Taylor and Johnny TV were a tag team and they wrestled Atlantis Jr. and Lio Rush. So I think Johnny TV is another one. I don't want to say he's like a dark horse because I feel like I don't think he's gonna last long, but he's someone I think you could watch out for. Lio Rush I could see kind of going far too. Brian Cage, I have no idea why we put him in this match. This to me is lazy booking. Like you could have easily put Atlantis Jr. versus like Lee Johnson and it would have made sense. Or Shane Taylor would have made perfect sense. But this is like I need to get everyone on the card. What do I do? Oh my god, survival of the fittest. Let's throw
Mm-hmm.
all these random people in there. Like thank you, Tony Khan, for your lazy booking efforts. I think Atlantis Jr. retains. Since this is a Texas residency, I do think there's a reason they're putting it on someone from CMLL to gain the traction. So I don't think he loses. And I'm just saying that I'm doing that because Rob Viper will kill me if I don't pick Atlantis Jr. So if I'm wrong, this is Rob Viper's fault, and I'm going to fight him next week in Cleveland because he and his company is trying to take my Ring of Honor championship away from me. He's very mean.
So I'm gonna counter the last part you said there about keeping it on a CMLL guy because they're in Texas. Um, it is Dallas. I don't think CMLL has as much of a pull up north as it would in San Antonio or in the Valley. Laredo is technically not the Valley, but like down like even Houston, Austin, it is a little further. So I think it's going to be less of a pull. Um, I just don't see Atlantis keeping this title. I think they did it because they wanted to pull Kyle off because they're getting him ready for Davis to come back. And they wanted to do something with the CMLL partnership that was interesting and unique and to show that anyone from either company can win the other company's title. And I honestly think that was like a big part of it because Max is going to go down and they wanted to like add some believability into Max potentially losing his title when he works Arena Mexico. I think it's next weekend he's working there. So that was partially what I think is going on, but so I don't have Atlantis Jr. winning this. I'm kind of leaning towards Shane Taylor. I think that he is someone who like you could put the belt on him and Lee and to do some good stuff with STP. And just looking at who's in there, I don't necessarily see Leo winning, even though I would honestly probably like prefer him. Cage isn't winning, Johnny TV isn't winning, so then it's kind of down to Lee Johnson, Leo Rush, and Shane Taylor to me. And I don't necessarily see it being Lee Johnson's time. You could also tell a really good story of Lee Johnson beating Shane Taylor at Final Battle for the title and do something good there too. So yeah, I don't know. I'm just kind of thinking Shane Taylor. Like there's supposedly like he might have like there was something going on with his signing, with his like contract. I don't know what's going on. I'm just leaning towards that. I think it makes sense to me.
I would say that, but he called out Mark Briscoe 2 weeks ago. So I'm
I don't
like,
think there's any consistency there.
I mean, there isn't, but like again, if like I since they're in Texas, he's from Texas. I could see them doing him versus Mark Briscoe for the world title in Texas. I could see
I
them
could
doing that
see
at
it.
some
I think you
point.
could also just put the belt on him and say we have a Texas champion.
What if Shane Taylor
Also, he's not. Shane
wins?
Taylor isn't from Texas. He's from like Baltimore.
No, oh, so I saw on Twitter like someone was making a big deal about like Shane Taylor and Texas. Like I don't know why.
Wait, is he from Texas?
I
No,
think
he's
he
from
is.
Cleveland.
Hey, I'm going to Cleveland next week. Then what was the significance of the tweet I saw? It was like a couple
Grew up
days
in
ago.
grew up in Cleveland. Wait, okay, I'm looking.
Or I'm just
No, wait. Did
or I'm
he
just stupid. That could be it.
did he train? No, he worked at Pittsburgh. I'm looking to see if he like maybe trained in Texas. Nothing. It's the I'm a look. I'm assuming people were confusing him for Keith Lee.
No, that'd be so bad.
Keith Lee is from Texas.
I know he is. That I know.
Yeah. Did he play football in Texas?
But
Maybe.
does he still live in Cleveland?
I don't know. I just know he isn't like he's not from Texas. I don't know where he lives.
He lives somewhere in America.
I don't know. It doesn't matter. I think I still I don't know. I'm gonna pick Shane Taylor to win. It's kind of what I'm thinking. Makes sense to me. Let's move into our co-main event here because we don't know what's actually going to be the main event.
I'm assuming
Athena,
it's Mark.
I'm assuming it's Mark too. Athena will defend her Ring of Honor Women's World Championship against Queen Aminata. Aminata unsuccessfully faced off against Billie Starkz to become to try to be the first ever women's television champion. She lost when Billie faked the neck injury, as I mentioned earlier, and now she will challenge Athena for her world title. Athena's record-breaking championship reign. Spoiler, I don't think she's winning this match. I think Athena will retain. I think her reign will continue to go because they need to break Samoa Joe's reign. And to break that record, I don't also like I just don't see what you do with Athena if she loses yet. She needs to probably lose at like Final Battle to Billie. So yeah, I got Athena retaining here.
So unlike Shane Taylor, I do know for a fact Athena is from Texas.
She is from Garland, Tech.
Yes.
No, Fort Worth. She's from Fort Worth.
So this is her turf. Her turf. Her area.
Garland.
Forever Minion Overlord. She's gonna win. This is a sleeper match. I think a lot of people like are kind of underestimating like how good this match could be. I think Aminata is gonna have her best match under her AEW Ring of Honor like reign. I definitely see Aminata really breaking out here. I think she's the one to eventually win that TV title from Billie somehow, some way. I mean, we still have to have that tag match with Red Aminata versus Billie and Athena.
Mm-hmm.
I know that they could do that on Battle of the Belts tomorrow. To be honest, since we have an eliminator match, why we could do this too. But I think Athena's definitely winning. I'm kind of upset that they had Camille with Mercedes because I would have booked Camille to beat Athena because she came from being the longest reigning NWA Women's Champion. Now she beats the longest reigning Ring of Honor Women's Champion. Like full circle booking, people. The story was right in front of you. That's how I would have booked it, but I'm not Tony Khan. Plus, I didn't really like seeing Camille beat up my friend on Wednesday. I was kind of heartbroken, not gonna lie.
Yeah. I am interested to see where they go with Athena after this. because we do have a very long time until the next pay-per-view. It is the longest gap that they have because Supercard was only 3 months ago, kind of four, I guess. It was a while ago, and yeah, like this is a near like it's like a 5 month gap until we get Final Battle, so they have a while to go to get to that probable Billie match. The Camille idea isn't bad. I do really like her as Mercedes Heater though, so I'm okay with what they did with her. I think it's a good idea. If I think it was, I honestly think it was supposed to be Megan Bain.
I agree with you, 100%. I mean, I think it's gonna make Camille a bigger star. I think it's gonna kind of be like what Tony did for Mariah, like how
Mm-hmm.
Tony really made Mariah like that big star. Like for people who really don't know a lot about Camille, I think Camille is really like Mercedes gonna do a lot for Camille, and especially I know that there was a report saying the Renegade twins have been getting close to Mercedes. Like if they want to put the Renegades in there, since they also Ring of Honor regulars who have disappeared. So I don't know if that is the plan to do that or something else.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
Yeah, that's been a thing for a while. Like the Mercedes with the Renegades. So definitely like something that they could do when Charlotte's healthy. Let's move in. We both have Athena retaining. So now let's move into what is likely the main event for the Ring of Honor World Championship. The champion Mark Briscoe defends against the man built for graps, the legend, the icon, Roderick Strong, an absolute beast of a wrestler, one of the only people I genuinely care about in the ring, along with Kyle O'Reilly. Um, I, I absolutely adore Roderick Strong. Tony Khan, I'm talking to you. You still have time if you have not done it. If you don't pay for End of Heartache by KSE, I will cry and I will complain on Twitter. He better get End of Heartache. Kimmy, he better get End of Heartache, right? Like he needs End of Heartache.
I mean, listen, if Bryan Danielson could get Final Countdown for a couple pay-per-views, and we all know how much that song cost, I mean, what are
I
we
don't
doing
think End
here?
of Heartache is expensive either.
That's what I'm saying. Like, what's the holdup? That's the
He used it for a year before they made him like change to the other theme. And like I don't hate the other theme, but it's not a good Roderick Strong theme. That's the issue. End of Heartache is so perfect. He used it at the Prestige show a few weeks ago. It was like Prestige and House of Glory Super Show, and maybe it was like someone else. Maybe it was like someone else was in that show. But like, yeah, it was fantastic. I loved it so much. I hope he uses that theme. That's mainly all I care about. But this match is going to absolutely rule. I am super excited to see what these two do together. Briscoe is another like wrestler who is like in that top 10 of people I will watch pretty much anything they do because he's just like exciting. I have not gotten to watch the War Games match from Wednesday, but I heard incredible things about how he did in that, and I would assume they're all true. I'm really I'm pumped. This has like a 4.25 like floor and like a 5, maybe like a break the scale ceiling. If you get End of Heartache, you have that like the crowd is rocking and everything goes well. Like this could be a 5-star match easily. Kimmy, who do you have walking out of Arlington tonight with the Ring of Honor World Championship? Do you have the man who won at Supercard of Honor a little under 4 months ago in Philadelphia, Mark Briscoe, or you have Roderick Strong making his return to Ring of Honor, taking that belt back with him?
I have so many problems with this match storyline wise, not like what these two could do. Because first of all, Mark Briscoe, I feel like forgets he's Ring of Honor World Champion. Because as much as you mentioned on commentary Wednesday, that man didn't come out with his title, but Swerve came out with his AEW World Heavyweight Championship, and they made notice of that. But this dude had to pay-per-view 2 days later. I need to understand what Tony Khan was thinking having this guy in blood and guts. He could have gotten hurt. Like, what would have happened if he got hurt on Wednesday? We would have been screwed today. I don't know if that.
He was fine.
But you run that risk, you
Yeah, you do.
know.
Yeah, you do
So
inherently run that risk.
And I also don't understand like why these two are wrestling each other and they're both on AEW regularly. I understand we're not building anyone up to wrestle Mark Briscoe, but at least put someone that's more in Ring of Honor. Roddy hasn't even appeared on Honor Club since he's been signed to AEW. So
Mhm.
my brain. I think Mark retains here. To me, it doesn't make sense to put the title on Roddy. I don't think it's going to do anything for him. I don't think he's going to appear on Honor Club every week. Obviously, Mark Briscoe doesn't. I just want a champion on Honor Club. That's all I want. That's my one wish out of this match. It should be great, but I think Mark's going to retain here. Even though he never appears, his title reign hasn't like been long. I feel like it's too soon to take the title off him.
I agree. I do not see a world where Roderick Strong wins this belt. I know our friend Kate from Fightful predicted on Twitter today that she thinks Roddy will win the belt to have the Kingdom reign supreme with all the championships, and then you use them as a transitional to whoever would win it, like probably like a final battle. Um, I don't see that because Briscoe just won the belt. I also don't see Briscoe being a permanent member of AEW television because he was only brought back. He wasn't even supposed to work Blood and Guts. They had a completely different they went through a few teams for that match, but yeah, I don't think he was ever originally in the plans. They just added him because he was doing that stuff with the Elite, and or he did the ladder match. So I don't think he was ever supposed to like actually be in there. So I just don't see him being on TV permanently after um after Blood and Guts on Wednesday. So yeah, I think he's going to hold this belt. They do have the Arlington taping, so you can sell some tickets by promoting at least a title match for him. You probably do some like tags. You do some what are they called? Proving ground matches. You let him work those tapings because he will sell tickets for you, and you just don't. I just don't think Roderick Strong is neat. I think Mark's going to sell more tickets than Roderick Strong would in that position. And also, yeah, like you said, Roderick Strong has not even been on Honor Club yet. Tonight's his first time since he returned. Was he signed to AEW in April 2023? So I just don't see a world where Roderick Strong does that. I think he also has a story with Kyle and Ishii going on TV, and I think it's a better idea to just keep him on AEW TV, like because he's kind of honestly he's kind of badly needed over there, especially on Collision. AEW TV is like really lacking in like singles males Hooper matches right now. Like we need some matches that are just gonna absolutely fucking bang. And putting Roderick with that Ring of Honor World title, I don't think it's I don't think it's a good idea for anybody. Like I don't think it's a good idea to take the belt off Briscoe. I don't think it's a good idea. Like I think for both Ring of Honor and AEW, it's better to like leave things how they are right now.
Especially like we really don't know what's going on with Undisputed Kingdom because we don't have an injury update on Adam, and I feel like that's stalling a lot of things. So I can understand the argument of like, oh, it gives Roddy something to do, but Adam also tweeted like a picture yesterday with him and Max. So like, is he coming back soon?
I think he's close.
So like,
Well, you look at timeline wise, Cole's been out of that boot for 7 months.
yes. So
So
I don't know. The whole Undisputed Kingdom thing is a mess, and that's obviously why Roddy won the international title to keep the Undisputed Kingdom storyline going, but obviously it didn't work well. But yeah, I don't know. There's just no gain in having Roddy win the title, and I'm like I feel like everyone I know has picked Roddy to win, and I'm like, am I watching a different show than all of you? What?
coming, like, I think that's why it's interesting to have me and you do this because you watch every show and you review every show and you write like you pay attention and I don't. Like I don't know what goes on in every show. I sometimes see the occasional Athena story on my Twitter, but I don't know what's going on. So from an outsider's standpoint, I don't see a world in which Roderick Strong wins this title.
And
Like
thank you for
from
making me feel seen.
yeah, just from like an AEW TV standpoint, right? Because like that's such a big portion of this from a selling standpoint. I don't see how you go. I don't see how you do it. You also like really haven't given Mark enough of a reign. I just like I don't see how you do that. It doesn't make sense to me to like take it off of Mark this quickly, unless you want to put it back on Mark, which also doesn't make sense. Like there's so many different factors here that just make me go, oh, there's no shot Roderick Strong wins this title.
Because then I feel like too, like if Roddy were to win, like you can make the argument, oh, the only reason they gave it to Mark was for the cheap pop of 11 years to the day that Jay wanted.
Yeah.
And like you don't want that. That's not the argument you want people to make. And that's the argument I would make because I was there 11 years ago and I was there in April. So this is why this brand makes me angry.
Well, like Mark was supposed, I don't know 100%. I'm fairly confident Mark was supposed to win last year before he got that ACL injury.
I agree.
At Death Before Dishonor. So I think he's wanted the reign. I think they want the reign. It's just like the unfortunate thing about the reign is I think he might have gotten injured in like April and May, and that's why he was off TV. Because he wasn't anywhere for like 2 months.
Well, then he also disappeared because of the baby, which was another big thing.
Yeah, that was why. Yeah.
And then we were all like, what the hell?
Yeah. The Arlington tapings and wherever they go next gives him a chance to like actually have a championship reign. So yeah, I'm definitely leaning towards that. We are now like 4 minutes away from this pay-per-view starting, so we're going to go ahead and let's wrap this up before 0 hour begins. Kimmy, thank you so much for joining me, and I hope that AEW Dark Elevation Death Before Dishonor is a good show tonight. I hope we all have a fantastic and wonderful time. I hope you get every winner you want. I hope there's not a lot of complaining on your post show. I know there will be, but I hope it's like as minimal as possible.
I'm going to text you every complaint I have because you just called this pay-per-view Dark Elevation. We're going to open the show. I'm going to have a problem with something immediately. I hate it already. Well, actually, when they announced the match, like before we started, I was like, guys, I already want to jump out the window. The pay-per-view didn't even start yet. We're not starting off good. We gotta switch it around.
Look, I texted you some very nasty things about the TNA pay-per-view last week. So if it's like I gotta give it, like if it's bad, I gotta keep things. I gotta keep the same energy. I hope it's good though, because I typically really like the Ring of Honor pay-per-views. But Kimmy, where can the people find you?
You can find me on Twitter at Kimmy_Sokol. I will most likely be live tweeting during this entire pay-per-view, all of my feelings, so I don't have to bother the same 5 people about it. You can follow me on Instagram at Kimmy.Sokol. You can go to the Pop Break while I will be exclusively reviewing this show. If you want to read my article, my predictions are there. They're a little bit more informed of like my thoughts about it and all of my angry feelings about this pay-per-view itself. You can read all my Ring of Honor weekly episodic reviews on PW Insider. And like I said, if you are in the Cleveland area next week and you're looking to pregame SmackDown and SummerSlam, head to WrestleCon.com. Get your tickets for WrestleCon Cleveland. Garcias are going to be there, Trish Stratus, Sting, Kevin Nash, X-Pac, Trevor Lee, and so many more. Go get your tickets and you'll get to see me, which is so amazing. But thank you for having me.
Thank you for coming on. You guys can find me on Twitter at Kaden, Kaden_FTW. You can find my work on WrestlePurist.com. I got a few things I'm working on the site and on the YouTube channel, so pay attention to that. And I don't have anything after the show, but I'll plug the Late Night Grin. Go watch the Late Night Grin's review of Death Before Dishonor because I'll be in the chat. I know JJ. I think JJ is still watching. JJ will be in the chat, so go interact with us on the chat, and yeah, go do that. It's a good time over there. Thank you guys so much for joining myself and Kimmy on this episode of All Honor, and I hope that y'all enjoy Death Before Dishonor.